Hello, I am your host, Lacey Schaumloeffel for Spot 127. Today, I am joined with Rosemary Williams.
Hi.
And Hope Deaver.
Hello.
Today, we would like to discuss female stereotypes surrounding women. According to the Cut, women are twice as likely as men to develop an anxiety disorder and have more severe symptoms. What do you believe are some of the root causes for women who develop an anxiety disorder?
I believe that anxiety stems a lot from experience, and it's very common for women to experience sexual assault, and I think that can lead to a lot of anxiety surrounding people, maybe more specifically men.
I definitely, to branch off of that, I definitely see trauma being like a root cause of a lot of anxiety issues, because I know for me personally, coming from my perspective, I do have anxiety around men. Like, it's not that I think they're going to do anything bad, it's just kind of that constant fear because of societal expectations, stories you hear, and then past things that have happened.
Do you think teen women are pressured by society to put on a certain persona?
Definitely. I read this book once, and it was from the perspective of a group of boys talking about a group of girls, and the whole book was one long romanticization of women and describing them as like unearthly beings, and it's hard for them to live up to those expectations, and it's very unrealistic.
I feel like there definitely is that pressure of the woman being the caretaker, definitely in family situations. For a part of my life, I grew up with my father, and I was seen to be like almost a mother figure because I was the oldest girl, and that's just kind of the role you take on as the oldest girl.
Hope, you said that it was hard for them to meet certain expectations. Why is it hard for them to meet those expectations?
I think because they're completely unrealistic. These boys describe girls as being creatures of like love, and all they can give is love, but that's not true. They're so much more than that, and it's too much pressure to put on any person to live up to those expectations, and I think that creates a lot of anxiety around women, just that they won't be enough for a man or a woman.
I think there also is the perspective of like physical beauty, because a lot of times we see that workplace attire for when teens grow up, workplace attire is definitely having makeup, having on a dress. That is what makes you look good. Another issue we find is that the way females are perceived by older men and older generations has changed, because now the average age of what is the most attractive a female can be is at the age of 18, versus how attractive a man is the age of about 35 to 50. We see the age difference, and it definitely affects teen girls because they feel like they have to grow up quicker, they have to look prettier, they have to fit this standard of being attractive.
How does conforming to gender stereotypes surrounding females affect anxiety in teens?
There's a lot of pressure about how women should dress, how they should act, that they should act feminine, and they should wear skirts and dresses, and that's less so now, and it's more in the past. But that leads to a lot of anxiety for women who don't want to wear skirts and wear dresses and want to wear pants and want to be more masculine but don't want to identify as that gender. It brings a lot of anxiety that they won't be accepted as a female if they are more masculine.
I know that in my personal case, I found a lot of power in my femininity, and that was really hard to accept and to conquer because females aren't traditionally seen as powerful. So I was wondering, like, if I am so feminine, how do I feel powerful in my gender and as who I am when that's not typically what's seen?
Yeah, and as Hope was saying that teens are pressured to do certain things and how society is like more open-minded about anxiety, I feel like that's taking progress to help teens feel less pressured and help them feel less anxious, as opposed to how it was a couple years ago or a couple 100 years ago. Do you think that females are scared to admit they have anxiety?
I definitely think that they're afraid of judgment or as being seen as weak, because there's a lot of, less so now, like I said, like in the past, men kind of painted women to be weak, and that's not true. But I think that women are afraid to come out and say, I'm struggling and I'm anxious, because they're afraid to be seen as weak when they truly are powerful. It's just they're struggling.
And I think definitely, like, branching off of that, it goes into the opposite spectrum where a lot of women are playing up that, well, obviously I'm supposed to be weak, so having anxiety, I should have anxiety, I should have these things, and that it becomes this mainstream event to be anxious and struggle with, like, mental illness. And a lot of girls definitely feel like they have to fit that, because then they can have the boy come save them.
What are some strategies or resources to help young women overcome anxiety brought on by the pressure of society?
Support groups, I think, are one of the best ways to go. It may not work for everyone, but women supporting other women in situations like this, and when they have so much pressure, will feel good to have a sense of community in that you're not alone and your struggles are real.
And then I think, like, other traditional calm down methods, like breathing exercises, definitely support from other women, support groups from your friends and your family.
You both say support groups, but do you guys think that women are scared to join support groups and express why they're anxious?
Yeah, I think anxiety has a lot of different ways of showing, and women may also find anxiety in talking to people and talking in front of groups, so it may bring more stress to them, so it may not be the right solution for them. I would also recommend therapy. I would recommend therapy for everyone, but especially women who are in situations like these where they feel pressure and they feel anxious to conform to society.
And like Hope said, like, the women are supposed to be weak card. A lot of females don't want to play up to that. They don't want to admit it because they feel like they have to be strong to combat that idea. So they don't want to reach out and they don't want to get the help they need because of that.
Do you think if women had more support and encouragement, the likeliness of them having anxiety would decrease?
I don't think that it would. I think it would decrease it a little bit, but I don't think that it would diminish all anxiety that women have, because support doesn't mean that you're not still worried about everything. It just means that you have a coping mechanism.
Yeah, definitely, I agree with that. I think not having support is only a small part of the issue compared to the expectations put on women and then just the history.
I agree with both of you, but in my opinion, support was a huge thing for me when I was struggling with anxiety, and when I finally got the support I need, and as Hope said, therapy, that helps tremendously. It's a good resource to use to cope with your anxiety, and it helps you figure out what to do when you're in anxious situations. That's all the time we have for today. I would like to thank my guests Hope and Rosemary for joining me today. I am your host, Lacey Schaumloeffel for Spot 127, and this is Spotcast.